Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Hip Hop Babies.
Yes, sir.
You know what it is, your host, Dad Lee. I got my boy Ray with me. We get into this new ScHoolboy Q, Blue Lips. THHB first right here. A little exclusive. Yeah, man, we got so much to say about this. It's like one of the first artists that we bonded over, right?
Yeah, ScHoolboy Q. We was talking about oxymoron.
You was wearing ski masks in the middle of our little study hall that we had, and I was like, bro, why you got that on, bro? And he said, man, I'm about to break the bank, bro. I'm really in my bag, and he put a bucket hat on, and I knew what time it was. We got into oxymoron. I mean, back when I was like 14, man, 2014. It seems like ages ago. That was really where it started. You know, I checked out Setbacks and Habits and Contradictions from that point. Hands on the Wheel, timeless classic, just to dive in the history a little bit. This is my first ScHoolboy Q album that I have really liked since Oxymoron, to be honest. This is the first time I feel like he's really gotten back into that type of bag. Now, I have liked some of the stuff from before, not as much as I liked what was initially there. I feel like the only exception to the rule that I have is Blank Face. You know, Blank Face can be seen as like one of his better albums. I put it personally in the top 3 of his albums. I got it ranked just behind Oxymoron, and then I got Blue Lips actually as my first on my favorite ScHoolboy Q albums. I don't know about you, bro. This one shot up the list immediately. I didn't even have to listen that much to be like, yeah, it's on here, bro.
I ain't gonna say it's that high yet. Overall, I'm really liking this album, especially compared to Crash Talk. Crash Talk came out, 2018? And I think Crash Talk was a good album. But the difference with ScHoolboy Q is I expect a great album. I expect something to be replayed for years, if not a long time after. And Crash Talk didn't give that to me as much as I wanted, right? There were some songs on there I really liked. Num Num Juice. He really tapped into that energy with this album. The way he goes into certain topics. ScHoolboy's back. If you were expecting him trying to make hits, him trying to make songs that appease certain people, you didn't get that on this album.
Nope. I can only do so many studios until I go crazy, you know? There's a lot of pressure from his label and stuff on like what he should and shouldn't be dropping. And I feel like this was really like the first time that we've kind of seen him uninhibited by like, you know, the noise. He's just kind of doing what he wants to do. It seems like he's having a lot of fun doing it. If you see him on social medias, I mean, he's all over it with this rollout. He actually put this one as his top album as well for him personally. I mean, that's just the type of vibe he's on, you know. He's definitely heard this one a lot more than we have. That speaks on the headspace that he was in when he dropped this album and when he was making this album. I think it was just a very positive thing overall. If ScHoolboy's happy, I'm happy, bro. Him doing stuff from the heart, from what actually made him, you know, start doing music in the first place, I feel like.
Because as a hype man, you know, he used to bring energy back in the day, right? And he's expanded and done so much more than being a hype man. As a rapper, he's definitely learned to hold his own. I heard about him from Setbacks and Habits and Contradictions and stuff like that. And then Oxymoron, it fully clicked. He made some pop hits on that album, and he made some deep cuts on that album that I still like to this day. When ScHoolboy Q is in a good headspace and he's able to make the music he wants to make, he makes a classic damn near, or he makes a really great album. And this is another one of those. Songs like Blue Slides, songs like Thank God For Me. He knows how to keep that energy, but he also knows how to tap into the heart and also thank God or talk about certain things that happened in his life. I think maybe that's why this album took so long, because it's been a lot going on. You know, we moved past the pandemic. You know, Mac Miller passed away, who was a friend of his. And I think that this album is a celebration of life in a way. ScHoolboy Q has a family. He's touching on that on this album. He's made a lot of steps towards moving past a certain lifestyle, obviously. With this album, I think, you know, he's at a certain point in his life where he could just say what he wants to say.
You talking about this album in general and like how it seems like it kind of took a long time. And I mean, that can just be highlighted by the fact that he said that Lost Times was the first song he recorded off here, right? I figured he just got out of some lost times when he wrote that, because that song is really just about celebrating for all the times when we don't know ourselves or we don't know what's happening around us and we can't recognize our surroundings, you know. And I feel like he was coming out of a place like that, and then he decided to write this album. This is a really cool thing, man. It's a really powerful thing, because this is his November. Tyler, the Creator, got November on Flower Boy. Lost Times is ScHoolboy November for me. Just nice, chill, introspective, get you thinking about some things, reminiscing over some things. At the end of the day, man, you know, we move. Fuck it, we ball.
Back in Love was another one of those moments where he talks about how he's back in love with this shit, whether it was trapping or making music. He's back in love with being back in the creative process. I think that says a lot. Sometimes things pop up that drain you of that energy, make you overthink things or make you kind of like, should I do this? And when you get into a rhythm of just doing things all the time, but then a moment pops up that kind of disrupts that rhythm, right? Okay, how do I adjust to this? And that's why with him dropping this album, I was really excited because, you know, you dropped Soccer Dad, you dropped all these random singles that didn't connect. But when it came time to put the pen to the paper and make great music, he did that with this album. Even some of the features I wasn't familiar with, you know, he found a way to make them all work. And he put together an album that I think is going to last. I think I'm going to be slapping this for some time.
I think so too, bro. I'm thinking in my head, you can even look at the single that he dropped, Yearn 101. That's not like a regular radio track, bro. That is a track so that the ScHoolboy Q fans hear that and they're like, oh, this is the type of energy he's coming with? Okay, let me tap back in because we wasn't getting that for a while. We was getting chopsticks. Yeah, now get that shit out of my face, bro. Get that shit out of my face. I need that hard gangster rap flow, bro. Like, I need that real shit. And Yearn 101, I mean, that's what that was, bro. It was, it was back to the basics, right? 101, back to the basics.
Yeah, even him previewing Thank God For Me in the boiler room with a bunch of people and him getting hype, him seeming happy around his posse and the people that were around him when he was performing the song. It just seemed like that energy's back. And I love Thank God For Me because of that. I think that was ScHoolboy Q making something that's catchy, making something that's high energy, but he knows how to also lay back. For a moment, Thank God For Me, all my niggas gonna ride for me, all my bitches gonna die for me. Like, it was catchy, but it was ScHoolboy Q. It wasn't him trying to force it to make it hit. He's been on Twitter recently and he rated his albums and he said, even Oxymoron, he said that, you know, he was reaching for hits or he was making certain songs that he think would appease Interscope or the radio. I'm listening to this. I mean, there's some songs I could hear on the radio, but with the beat switches, with some of the ad-libs, I don't know if a lot of people will be like, man, I'm trying to listen to this. You know what I'm saying? Just casually. This was a deep listen.
And I just really like the way that, like, he's back and celebrating himself, even with, like, the instrumentation. You got the nice little soft horn leading into that, and just chill, and then, like, trumpets coming. What do you think when you hearing like some trumpets like that? That's like victory music, bro. I'm like circling the fucking stadium after I just won type music right there. But just like something that's so genuine about it that I feel like has been missing from my ScHoolboy Q albums for a little bit. I think the way that he addressed it on socials and the way that he addressed it with this album, just like with the meanings and purposes of this album, I think was just so perfect and perfectly executed for, you know, everybody who likes ScHoolboy Q, man. You and I immediately on the same wavelength when we heard like this shit. There was no delay. It's just what we already liked the most about him, and he's just doing it again. How perfect for, you know, us. Oxymoron came out 10 years ago, and we get a decade later another classic, it seems. Could be, you know. But I love it. I love this album, bro. This album is great. The way that it is just such a good, like, slice of life album, touching on so many different topics. He's just able to put it into words so effortlessly and always be on the right side of things or having that confidence where even if he isn't, he's still able to talk his shit because, I mean, look at where he's at. It's not even like flexing. He's just like, bro, I came from nothing. I'm here now, and y'all really can't say shit. You right.
Yeah, he's grandfathered in. He's been in the game for a minute now. Crash Talk came out in 2018, so even though it's been around 6 years, you know, he can come back again like he's never left. And I think that's really important because his personality, his voice, everything is one of one. The way he capitalizes his H's for Hoover Street.
Down to the lyrics on Apple Music, if you go and look up the lyrics.
It matches. And there's some introspective songs to show how much he's grown from that certain mind state, right? I was worried that I wouldn't hear him like that on the track again. And I was glad that I got that back. I got him saying Fig Side back. Blank Face was dope. Blank Face is my favorite album, I think, by ScHoolboy Q. He experimented so much. Songs like Big Body, even some of the other songs that people... even though people might not have been such a fan of those songs. I think they meant something to me personally because I grew up on West Coast, like old school West Coast rap, right? So a lot of the times, like, it was dope to see him do that in a way that was so different. This is him doing that again. That's why songs like Blue Sides hit so much for me. He's at a place where he's grandfathered in, so he can talk from a point of, I've done this, I've been doing this, and I'm still trying to do it and progress my music, but I'm also trying to relate to my fans that have been listening to me. And I think it was impressive to see him do that in 2024 after a long wait, because some people do that and they disappoint. Even the song with fucking Absol on here, like, that was a moment. Fox.
I think it's Faux.
Thank you. You know me, I'm gonna get the title wrong, but Faux, right? A moment like that where they're referencing
wanna hydro, pussy hole, ass
titties. Like, they're referencing
crazy, bro.
Old tracks they made. You know, back in the TDE days, I missed that. TDE artists working with each other and making dope tracks. I mean, they still do it sometimes, but that was a throwback vibe.
Girl, I acknowledge that I treated you bad. Come on, Lance. Kill that shit, bro. All the features throughout, you know, were great. I love that. I love Freddie Gibbs on Ohio. I thought that was like a great, like, dream pairing. I never thought I would hear, and, you know, I got it, and I was like, damn, bro. They really did that. We also got Rico on Pop, you know, and he went like full rock star type shit, you know, like the gangster rock. I really fuck with that, bro. I thought that was really dope. I thought that all the stuff that he was trying to do worked well. I mean, I feel like Movie is a tribute to just like California type music.
I love that track.
He wasn't even rapping on there. He let, you know, AZ go on there and just rip that thing.
He set the vibe. He had a different type of beat and
everything.
Then the beat changed and it became West Coast crazy energy. Let's make a movie, like all that shit. Like, I was like, oh my goodness, that shit slapped. AZ Chike, you did a great job on that. That was a dope ass West Coast tribute. Unexpected moments. I didn't know who that was. Some of the other features are like that on this album, you know, and he gets them multiple times. You know, you don't need to get all the big features.
Devin Malik.
Were you familiar with him?
Nah, not really, but I mean, I heard him on Lovebirds, and I was like, oh, that don't sound like you. I was like, who is that? And I'm like, oh, okay. He doing his shit on there. I like that. I like the way that he ended his track too, because he was like doing a little singing and a little rapping. Myself, the world again. I don't know how to do that shit, but he was like, you know, show myself the world again. I thought that was really cool one. Lovebirds in general, I thought was a really cool track. Talking about relationship issues. You acknowledge you didn't treat her well, but we still got to move on. We gonna, you know, stay together. Am I gonna show myself to the world again?
That beat was chaotic on that. Yeah, Lovebirds, the beat was crazy on that track.
I think that a lot of his stuff was just chaotic in general, going from highs to lows. I think that was overall like a good metaphor for what this album is really about. It's a metaphor for just life in general. Different parts of life. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's really low. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, from track to track, it's a different energy, a different vibe. A lot of these tracks have beat switches. First was one of them. That crazy ass hook or whatever that was. I was the first one fucking that bitch. Going off.
That nigga talking his shit, bro.
The first part of the track was like ScHoolboy Q rapping. The second half was just ScHoolboy rapping his ass off, right?
That nigga sounded like a super villain on that one.
Yeah, that hook was crazy. He found new ways to innovate with his hooks.
Fuck that shit. It's a hook right here.
That track was real.
No, that was some real shit talking though.
Yeah, Germany 86 had a smooth start. Talked about the love for the woman in his life. I like that track a lot. People forget that ScHoolboy Q was born out in Germany and then he moved out to LA, so I think that was a cool way to put that in a track. You had some deep cuts in here.
Found the time to reminisce on the more important thing in his life. I just felt like his like metaphor game and like the shit that he was referencing, it was all on point. I keep going back to Blue Slides, you know, as for like one of the ones where the writing on this really just stands out. Blue Slides, he's sliding through your whole shit, you know, sounding like Slowby out here. I'm like, damn, okay. Presidential rollies, I took big risks, but it's also risks, bro. Big risk. Nah, he going stupid, bro, with the entendres. Come on, bro. What was another one? Try to strike me out. That's why I can't miss. Nigga, they don't want you up. Our own people trying to vulture us.
Blue Sides, it might not be the most replayable, especially around people, but I think that was my favorite track. That was the track that hit home the most. From that line about, he said, lost a homeboy to the drugs. I ain't trying to go backwards. Other lines on that song, he goes into how a lot has changed. Had to make him push through it. That was a bright moment on this album because He's done that before, but like I said, after a long break, it was cool to hear him reference, obviously, losing a friend in his life with the title, Blue Slides. I think a lot of people have gone through things and they don't know how to express it sometimes. And I think that hearing a gangster do that in a way that's relatable, he goes deeper on that track, talk about like how he had to trap through it and certain things. That's the difference between ScHoolboy Q and other rappers sometimes, especially gangster rap. He knows how to do it, come off energetic, but also like hit home when he needs to. And I think that's why he worked with Kendrick Lamar. He works with Absol. He works with all these other rappers because he's so versatile, but he's so in his pocket that it works.
It's called being real, bro. Everything that he talks about, he's never shied away from it. Dangerous shit or whatever shit he had to do to get by. Like what he experienced, what he had to go through. The rawest form of hip hop that we got. This is why we love this shit. This is why we review it. That's why I got such high praises for this album. That's why I put it so high. Oxymoron was my favorite just because it was my first version of him that I heard, and I could see the potential of like where he could go from here. And this is the realization of that potential. All right here. Just sounds like he blocked out that outside noise and he's making this for him and his fans. He recognized that. We recognize that right away. Getting back to the recipe, the main recipe.
Sometimes you need to do that though. Songs like Pig Feet. I think there's not a track on here that I could say is a complete miss. When I was listening to the album, it flowed well. Like even with the beat changes. From the beginning to the end, it was a ride, and it was something that even as a ScHoolboy Q fan, I got something new, but I also got ScHoolboy Q. He obviously wasn't reaching for radio play. I think the beat switches and some of the aggressive ass hooks would not work on the radio. Maybe it will work because it's ScHoolboy Q and people want to hear stuff like this. I hope this album gets a lot of sales because he said with Crash Talk he was reaching for first week numbers, because you know how it is nowadays. People judge first week numbers like it determines an album's quality level. No matter what this sells, I hope that people know that this is a quality album. You don't need to succumb to the pressures of trying to switch up your sound or work with certain artists and make it not what you want to make it to sell. Especially West Coast rap. We need more innovation. We need more people trying to be their own type of rapper rather than just doing what is the status quo or trying to make hits. Because I think that's why we see some West Coast rappers, West Coast groups fall off, because or they come up making a different sound and they change it up to try to, keep making hits. I feel like that's not what your fan base wants.
That's not what it's about. You can make the same type of Bay Area music or LA type music every year, and one of those songs, like two of those songs, are going to get played universally. But outside of that, man, like, people really be looking for different music, different vibes. I mean, this isn't party music, but when you listen to party
some
music,
of it is.
only at the party. I know, but like my point is like the party music stays at the party. What happens when you're not at a party? What happens when you live in regular life, man? You need music for that too, bro. You need daily driver music. This one hits all of the range. Some of it could be party music. It envelops all of life, and I think albums that do that, where they can get like a overarching type thing where they touch on a bunch of different things, different emotions, but it's not coming off as like doing too much and it's just coming off as you. That's the most relatable thing, because we have so many different sides to us. I mean, that aren't us all the time. ScHoolboy Q is just so good at getting into those parts where we can see human aspect of him trying to be the best in all the situations that you can be, not necessarily being perfect in them. How can you not feel this shit, bro?
ScHoolboy Q has that pull where he could work with whoever and he could make the track different, or he can make the track pop. Even when he used to do the tracks with Black Hippie, he would stand out because of his flow and because you put him over anything, he'll find a pocket. And I think this album was a dope example of that. Beat switches kept it fresh, damn near every track. I'm happy. I'm a ScHoolboy Q fan. I love his music. I love what he brings to the table. So I got music that's going to last me for a while. And I'm glad he's back. I don't doubt he's going to follow this album up with something else that's more dope than this. That hunger's still there after this long wait. And I think that's what impressed me the most. I hope this is in people's top 5, top 10s, whatever, when the year ends. I think it will be in mine.
Yeah, it can be up there for sure.
This is going to be dope live, I think, for sure. This is going to be a dope ass.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have to see this live for sure. It's going to be up. I'm just excited to, live with this album, sit with it longer. We already got so much enjoyment out of it, but this is one of those slow burns, man. If I wasn't so incredibly locked in all the time, I wouldn't know that, you know, this album is gas. I'm invested, bro. The moment I heard it, I was like, boom, I need to hear more of this. I need to hear it throughout life. I need to experience stuff with this album because I could already tell I'm going to get some deep attachment to it.
It's crazy. I was talking to someone, they didn't even know ScHoolboy Q dropped. So I'm hoping this is getting the promotion it deserves. This album deserves a listen. Must listen. Listen now. If you have to, cut this off and listen right now. Like, if you haven't listened to this, highest recommendation.
To your point earlier about how you know he's going to drop something great after this, I think that part of the reason why you think that is because that the reception so far to this album has been so overwhelmingly positive. Hopefully what he sees now with this reception pushes him further along that path of just being himself. That's all we really want. There's nothing that is on those charts that is more quality than this project, you know? And I can say that without a doubt in my mind. Like, this is a very, very well put album from the production side, from the writing, just the overall rapping ability. Bro got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
I agree, man. There was rumors that Kendrick was going to make a rock album, and to hear like rock sounds on this album too. ScHoolboy Q and them have not been afraid to play with that, but there was a lot of guitar. The breakdowns on it, some of it got really aggressive. I'm like, oh, okay, like this is noisy for even ScHoolboy Q.
Yeah, on Lovebirds, that shit was noisy.
I love my noise music, so if you're going to make noise music, if you're going to play with rock sounds, I'm going to enjoy that. So if you do that again, even if it's a track on another album, I liked it. And I think a lot of people liked it, obviously. So keep this up, man. Don't turn it down for anything. These songs were catchy enough, and they were all over the place or chaotic. ScHoolboy Q, you did it, man. You did it. You came back. You came back, and you made it look easy.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
It was effortless. I was worried, but not because I didn't think he was going to drop something good, but just like, it's been a long time. How are you going to come back? Flawless.
Not everybody's built for the streaming era, man.
His last album, it was like on the border.
Not everybody is dropping for the right reasons nowadays. So it's always a toss-up. It could only go up from here, I think. I'm ready. I need more.
ScHoolboy, hopefully you don't take a long-ass break again. Hey, if you do take a long-ass break again, I'm fine with it if you're going to drop shit like this. You know what I'm saying? So,
as long as it's like this, yeah. Make sure y'all go stream that one. Like, comment, and subscribe for the boy, for the one time, bro. Y'all really got us to 100 subscribers. That's crazy. Y'all are the best. You, right there in that chair, you the best. And if you didn't hit that subscribe button, I take that shit back. Thank y'all so much. Make sure you hit that Patreon link. We got links out the shits, man. You want to support us, man. Patreon is a great way to do that. You can pledge $1. That's all I'm gonna say. So I'm gonna let Ray take over, but thank y'all so much.
Yeah, thank you for watching. ScHoolboy Q, if you tap in, man, appreciate this album. All the producers that worked on this, all the writers, everything. This was a great album. Yeah, make sure you follow everything that's linked below. Discord, everything. We're trying to connect everything together and make sure we bring you consistent content. If you want to keep up to date with what's dropping in hip hop, what's new in hip hop, tap in with us. That's what we're here for. With that being said,
peace.